What's up, you guys? It's Graham here. So I'm going to be sharing with you guys exactly how I made over $73,000 just by having the patience to wait 90 minutes. And this is going to be something that will apply to anybody in any sort of customer service industry, working as a real estate agent, anything in sales. I promise this story will apply to you. And it's just a great story. It's interesting all the way around. And I think there's a good lesson to it. So let's get right into it. So this story goes all the way back to when I was 19 years old working as a real estate agent. I would post other agents' lease listings on Craigslist with their permission, of course. And what I would do is people would call me on those listings, and then I would be able to pick them up as clients and meet new people, and it just worked out great. So I remember this, it was a Friday, maybe around 6 p.m., and I got a phone call from somebody wanting to see one of those listings at 8 p.m. Now, I was like 19 years old at the time. I had like no friends. I had nothing going on. I had no social life. I just did real estate. And I figured, you know what? Okay, 8 p.m. on a Friday, they want to see this place. I have nothing else going on. I'm going to show it to them. This is perfect. And I confirmed it on the phone. I'm like, okay, I'll see you there at 8 p.m. Perfect. So 7:45, I get to the house, turn on all the lights, get there a little bit early, and then 8 p.m. comes around. And, I'm looking at my clock and, like any minute now, they're going to be here. And then it's about 8:20. And I figure like, okay, maybe they're lost or something. So I call them and they say, oh, don't worry, we're close by. We'll be there very soon. And then 8:40 comes along and I'm like, wait, what? Like, I'm here. Where are they? They said any minute now. And I call them again. And they say, we're so sorry. Something came up. We had to stop somewhere really quick. We're on our way. I promise. I'm so sorry. We'll be there soon. Okay. 9 p.m. comes around. So I've been there now at the property for an hour and 15 minutes, and they're an hour late to this property. And I'm starting to get really upset. And I'm basically thinking, they're wasting my time. What am I doing here? They're not serious. Here I am on a Friday night. I've waited over an hour for these people. What am I doing? I should just leave, and I should teach them a lesson to never be late and never mess with Graham Stephan, because I have access to this property and only I could show this to them. And I just kept thinking in my mind, what should I be doing? Should I just try to teach them a lesson? What's the best route to take? And you know what? I ended up thinking about it, and I ended up thinking, you know what? Like, I have nothing else going on tonight. I've already wasted an hour at this property. I'm here. What am I going to do? I'm going to go home and like watch TV tonight. I can either be here, wait for the client and meet somebody new, or I can go and like watch TV or do something totally unrelated. So I figured, you know what? I'm just going to wait. And as I was waiting at this property, I kept thinking back to something that had happened when I had first started in real estate. This is probably one of my first few clients from a lease that reached out to me, maybe in the first like 2 or 3 months. And I kept thinking back to this event. I had a showing scheduled at 9 a.m. with this one client for a lease. Similar thing happened. 9 a.m., appointment was confirmed. 9:30, still wasn't there. Called him, said that he had to stop for some food really quick, was going to be on his way shortly. 9:45 came, still isn't there. 10 a.m. came, again an hour late, still isn't there. 10:15 came, said he was just a few minutes away, didn't show up again, almost an hour and a half late. 10:30, and when he came in, I was so upset at him, and I told him, like, I've been waiting here an hour and a half. I can't believe this. This is so disrespectful. And keep in mind, I was 18 at the time. I didn't have any business. I barely made any money at all in real estate. And here I was like, this is disrespectful, wasting my time, this and that. And I had nothing else going on that day. I had nowhere else to be. I just had gotten up early on a Saturday. I mean, that was basically it. I was already there. But basically, I rang him out in person because I was so frustrated. And basically, when I said that, he rung me out and said, you know what, you have no idea who I am. You have no idea who you're talking to right now. People wait for me. I run, XYZ businesses. I make all this money. You know what, I don't even want to see this house anymore, blah, 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 blah. And he ended up, I heard through another agent, leasing another house the next day. The commission of that probably would have been between $4,000 and $10,000 for this one client. And because I had gotten really frustrated, he didn't want to work with me anymore, which is understandable. And in reality, he was, somewhat of a big time guy in the movie industry. And, in all fairness, he was a busy guy. He did have a lot going on. And, even though he was an hour and a half late, which is super disrespectful, I could have just sucked it up because I had nothing else going on that day. I just been like, you know what? I'm here anyway. No worries. Let me show you the house. Maybe he would have liked it, and I would have been, $4,000 to $6,000 richer at the time. So I kept thinking back to that moment when I was waiting at this new house with this new client, thinking I can make the same mistake again and lose the client, or I could just be like, you know what, I'm here anyway, nothing else I can do, let's just make it happen, and then maybe I end up getting a sale. So now it's about 9:15 and a car pulls up in the driveway, and I'm thinking, okay, perfect, they're here, this is great, I've wasted an hour and 15 minutes, doesn't matter, they're here now, we can start. But someone comes out of the car and says, I am so sorry, my boss is in the backseat of the car, he's on a really important phone call right now, we're gonna have to wait for that call to end, and then he'll come in. I may as well just wait, push my own pride and ego aside, and just think, you know what, it's for the customer, this is customer service, I'm brand new to real estate, this is me building my business, this is something I should be doing. Fuck it, let's do it, let's wait. It was 9:30, an hour and a half after the appointment, that the client comes out of the back of the car, introduces himself, walks through the home for not even a minute. Comes out and says, you know what, I don't like the house, but I'm looking for something else, what else can you show me? And at the time I was like, oh my God, I had just wasted an hour and a half at this property. He spends 1 minute looking through the home. He doesn't even go upstairs or downstairs. He just takes a quick look around, and then it was like an immediate no. And I was just like, oh no, why? Why? We could have figured this out, just if he looked at the pictures, he would have figured this out. But again, I was just thinking, you know what? This is a new client. I am building my business. Let's at least see where this goes because I don't have anything else going on at the time. Let's pursue it and see what happens. It turned out that this was a one-time fluke of him running extremely late because the next showings that we set up, he was on time or early. I ended up leasing this client a home maybe about a week later, which led to about a $5,000 or so commission. He then ended up buying something for about $2.5 million about 2 years later. He then ended up leasing another home in addition to the home he bought, and then he ended up referring me more business that ended up leasing from me or using me as a real estate agent. And just from this one client, I ended up making over $73,000 in commissions just by putting my ego aside, putting my pride aside, thinking, you know what, I'm already here, focusing on the customer service and the client, $73,000 by waiting 90 minutes. And more than likely over the next few years, I'm going to continue getting more repeat and referral business from the same client. And it gets even better than that, but this person ended up becoming a really great personal friend of mine. And he's just a cool person to be around. And it was just this one-time fluke of him being late. But had I gotten in the way of that, and had I decided to sabotage that and think, you know what, I'm just gonna stick it to him, I'm gonna teach him a lesson, none of that would have happened. I would never have met him, we would never be friends, and I would be over $73,000 poorer if I just didn't wait the 90 minutes. And the big takeaway here is that if you're in any sort of customer service industry, sometimes you do need to put your pride aside, just suck it up, and think of the client first. If you really have nothing else going on, if you're brand new to the business, it's all about the client first, and the more time you spend putting into it, the more you're gonna end up getting out of it. Now, of course, there are gonna be people out there that will be disrespectful and that will waste your time. It's important to differentiate between the two, between someone who's just totally disrespecting and wasting your time versus someone who's really just running late, and at some point you just have to focus on the customer first and realize that you're there to help the other person and not the other way around. One of the things I do to make sure people don't run late is, first of all, I tell them our appointment is at this time sharp. And usually that would work. And then one of the other things I like to do is follow up an hour in advance. So if our appointment is set for 2 p.m., I will send a text following up at 1 p.m. just saying something like, hi, I just want to reconfirm our appointment for 2 p.m. sharp. I will see you there. If anything comes up, let me know ASAP. Otherwise, we're confirmed. See you at that time. 99% of the time, you just get, okay, sounds good, see you then. Then if I have any doubts in my mind, this person might be the type to run a little bit late, I will send one more text just saying, on my way, see you soon. I want to say this somehow eliminates 90 to 95% of the people that run late just when you gently remind them hey, on my way, hey, see you in an hour, almost every single time that ends up working. If this client does happen though to run late time and time again consistently, you do need to let them know that this is not only disrespectful to your time, but also to the other agent's time who's meeting you at the properties. And it is important to remind them that you have other clients that you're working with too, and sometimes when one appointment runs late, everything else runs late as well, and everybody's schedule gets pushed back because of that. It's so important to let them know this. And then if this happens again, you're not going to be able to work with them, and you wish them all the best. And at that point, it's okay maybe to let them go or refer them to another agent. But if you're anything like me at the time and you had nothing else going on and you had no other way of being more productive than just waiting, it's worth it. Just put everything else aside and wait, and you may have just earned an extra $73,000. And then finally, I want to end this video with a quick offer for anybody who's interested. If you're interested in working as a real estate agent, or you're working as a real estate agent and want to expand what you're doing, I have a course. It's called the Real Estate Agent Academy. For anybody interested in this, for the next week, I'm going to be offering $50 off plus a free 20-minute coaching call as well. Testing this out just for a week. If you guys are interested, the link is in the description with a little bit more information. Make sure to check that out. Just testing out the coaching call with the course, so I'm only doing this for a week. If you guys are interested, make sure to check that out as well. Also, if you've watched to the very end and you haven't subscribed already, make sure to smash that subscribe button, and also feel free to add me on Snapchat and Instagram. I post there pretty much daily, so if you want to be a part of it there, feel free to add me there. Thank you again for watching, and until next time.